Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is Yasin here, and today I want to talk about the concept of those who pay attention. And I think this is one of the critical upside down mentalities that the upside down Muslim mindset has, which is that the thing that is free, or we think that things should be free, or things that are valuable should be free, and those who are selling within our communities, for some reason they're doing something wrong. And that is evident because of the fact that every single time a Muslim goes to another Muslim, he's always wondering, okay, am I going to get a discount? Am I going to be able to get something for cheaper because I know this person? And to give you a story of when this occurred to me and when it was blatantly obvious was when I had a mentor of mine growing up. As you guys know, I've had a number of mentors growing up. One of the key mentors in my life, someone that I look up to, somebody who would teach me deen, somebody who would teach me dunya, somebody who's very close to me. I remember that there was an event where I had to go to a meeting and I had to actually rent a car from Turo. Okay, and so I went on the Turo app and I was trying to find a car that was presentable, that I really liked for this meeting that I was going to. And so there was a gentleman who had this really nice Lexus car that I found on the Turo app. And he was going under the name of AW. Okay, so it was just like Mr. AW. And I was like, okay, well, hey, obviously Turo does the authentication for who its sellers are. And so I don't care if the guy wants to present his name or not. That's irrelevant to me. He had a nice car and I wanted to rent his car. And so I proceeded to message AW. I told him, hey, what's going on, AW? I want to rent your car. And lo and behold, AW was actually a good friend of mine whose name was Abdurrahman. And I actually knew Abdurrahman personally. I had no idea that he did Turo. And so that came to be, he was a good friend of mine. I knew him. It was pretty cool because I already had his phone number in my phone. And so, obviously I was able to go ahead and rent the vehicle from him at the same charge, at the same price that he was asking for on the Turo app. And so I went to the meeting, everything went well. I returned the car, that was it. Then when at a later date, about maybe a day or two afterwards, I was telling this story to my mentor, who I look up to, I respect, I really value his opinion. And he said, "Oh, so you knew the guy?" I was like, "Yeah, I knew the guy." And he said, "Oh, so does that mean you got a better deal?" I was like, "No, I didn't get a better deal because I just gave him what he had asked for. The price that was on the Turo app, I just asked him, I gave him what he was asking for. And, it was a premium car, so I paid a premium price for it." And so he's like, "Oh, okay." And so that story put into my head that unfortunately, even those who are respected within our communities, people who really even understand deen, who might even be very knowledge and learned in the deen, and like I said, he was a teacher of mine growing up, even them to a core level within the culture, it starts to seep into this contamination of feeling like, oh, if I pay for something, then if it's somebody that I know, I should be getting a discount. And the reason why I think this is so important to be able to emphasize is because for those of you who are Muslims, who are going out there and wanting to create a business, especially within the service industry, right? If you are going to be doing coaching or consulting, if you're going to be helping somebody lose weight, if you're going to be helping somebody build a business, if you're going to be helping teach them eBay, if you're going to, whatever business that you want to start, right? Especially, I think this culture of not being able to charge the price that we are worth has seeped so deeply into our minds as Muslims within our culture that it started to make us feel bad that when we charge a premium price, we start to wonder to ourselves, am I actually ripping somebody off, right? And the truth is that your time, your attention as the service provider, as the value provider, is worth a premium price. Now, obviously I could do a whole different lesson on the business aspects of high ticket and the value of a price in terms of building a brand and how it actually allows you to spend more in marketing so you can attract more people and actually create a better positive impact if you're charging what it is that you're worth. I'm not going to go into that for now. But my point being is that people who pay attention. And so the reason why this specific topic came to my mind today is because today I actually invested in a $3,800 mindset program. Let me repeat that. Today I spent $3,800 in a program for mindset coaching. You'd be like, what in the world, Yasin, are you talking about? Yes, so even though I have been a student of personal development, of mindset, of nafs, I talk to my students about it. I'm somebody who is very well versed on all of the tactics, the strategies, the principles. I came to realize that over the last 6 months to a year, there have been some significant obstacles and barriers in my own mindset that I have been unable to overcome. Now, I've tried every trick in the book in order to try and overcome my the obstacles that I'm facing in my mind related to self-doubt, related to not feeling like I can put myself out there. I've tried them all, but the truth is that those obstacles I needed some external professional help in, because no matter how much I was trying to surgically fix my own wound, it wasn't happening, and so I needed to be able to seek some external professional help, right? Like if you have a wound, if you're really well versed, you can try and do it yourself. But even the best surgeon in the world, he's probably going to want to have somebody else to do it for him, because the other person can probably get into crevices in sewing up that wound that the person themselves cannot probably do. And so that's one aspect to it, was seeking the professional help, right? Having somebody else give a third-party perspective. The second thing is, and this is very strange, is because I haven't really even gone through the program yet. And just having made that purchase, this is very strange, hear this out. Just having made that purchase, right? And it's a purchase to the extent that it's not like I purchased like a $20 thing, a widget, or like a $50 thing, right? It's $3,800 is what I spent. It's enough to like make you a little bit, hey, what's going on here, right? It's enough money to be able to make you think twice. And just having spent that money, I already start to feel positive changes, which is fabulous, right? It's a crazy phenomenon, and it's very well documented on the business side that people purchase, and when they purchase something, for some reason, actually we know the reason, there's a psychological reason for it, that itch that they had purchased for that thing already gets scratched. Just by the simple act of purchasing it, they already feel a sense of relief. And so I would urge you guys, if you guys are value providers, service providers, if you guys are in the business sphere, if you guys are collecting money, get rid of those self-beliefs, because you are doing a disservice to your customers by not actually charging them. You are depriving them of that, being able to scratch their itch, because they have a problem. And by them making that purchase in what it is that you have to offer, it is scratching their itch, and it's already bettering their life just by the simple act of purchasing it. Forget about actually even going through the content of it, which is absolutely wild. And I kid you not, I basically logged into the program so far and consumed like the first video, right? It's like a 6-week program. And I already feel that a lot of the obstacles that I was facing are being removed simply by making that purchase. And so that's really what I wanted to hop on today and really talk about, which is that people who pay attention. People who pay more attention. And so the truth being is that if you can charge the most possible for what it is that you have to offer, granted that it's ethical and what you provide actually solves the problem, then you have every right to charge more, because when you do charge more, your customer will pay more attention. When that customer pays more attention, they will get better results. And when they get better results, you will be able to help more and more people. And so ethically, it is actually something that you must do, is charge the price that you are warranted. And now obviously there's a lot of Islamic literature regarding paying somebody what they're worth and not shortchanging somebody. Obviously a lot of that has been lost within our culture. And so that is the major point that I wanted to convey today. Now, I have a secondary point that is related to this that I'm going to go into now, but I hope that this first point and really the high that I've presented on the first half of this podcast does not get lost in the messaging of the second half, because the second half is not as clear, but I want to kind of start publishing it so that way I can start getting clear on it as well. So the second portion of this is really related to why my theory about the romanticization of somebody giving something for free has become something that is commonplace within our deen. Because of the fact that there is a romanticization of the fact that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not charge for what it is that he was giving to the Sahaba. Now, there's a number of points behind the scenes for this. Okay, there's a number of ayat in the Quran that say, "La as'alukum alayhi ajra," that I'm not asking from you any sort of ajr, as a means of conveying the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so that is point number one. That's why he didn't charge, right? Point number two being that obviously he was the Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so because of that, and as a leader of a state, there was other means that were available for him to be able to sustain his lifestyle. In the same way that the President of the United States doesn't have to get a job in the normal way, in the same way, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a state leader. And I think a lot of people don't understand this, and they hold him to the standard of the average person who was in the society, when in reality, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a state leader in the same way that a president or somebody is ruling a country. And so many of the things that may apply to civilians may not apply to him in the same way. Okay? Now, the other thing is that I think there's a severe misunderstanding of the fact that the times have changed and the value of money has changed as well. Because you have to understand that 1400 years ago, and really even up to about 100 to 200 years ago, up to the Industrial Revolution, we were living in the time economy. And I'm sure I'm going to make future episodes about this because it's such a critical understanding and mental shift and a paradigm shift to make, is that we no longer live in the time economy. Where they say time is money, that is not true anymore. Because of the fact that the Industrial Revolution and going onward, the technological revolution, has allowed mankind to be able to get an asymmetrical return on the investment of time. So no longer is it that you put in 1 hour of work and you get 1 unit of effort back, which is what it was used to be before the advent of technology like machines and stuff like that, right? Like if you had to plow the land, you had to do it by hand or by your ox. And so there was very limited amount of return on investment that you could get. And so in that period of time, in that era, time was the most important currency. And so spending your time was considered to be, because remember, like if once it goes dark, there's no electricity. You can't do work, right? Like before electricity was invented, once it goes dark, imagine, like I think people misunderstand this and they completely forget this. Once it goes dark, okay, in the Sahaba's time, once it goes dark, you cannot do any work anymore. It's game over. You just do ibadah. That's why a lot of people do ibadah in the nighttime, all those kinds of things. It's because you cannot get any work done anymore. And so for that reason, if you are dedicating 1, 2, 3, 4 hours of your day to being able to sit down in a halaqah or being able to sit down and help somebody or something like that, it is such a massive, massive importance because of the fact that the currency was time and that you're limited by, the 8 or 10 hour period of sunlight. However, in today's economy, we no longer live in the time economy. We now live in the attention economy, okay? And so time is no longer money, attention is money, okay? And in the same way, the actual dollar value of something has changed because like the actual importance of money, because today, and I'm absolutely gonna make another episode on this because this is such a deep topic, is that in today's world, you cannot live without money. And this is another false belief that a lot of Muslims have, which is a part of the upside down Muslim paradigm, is that in today's world, you cannot live without money versus in the time of the Sahaba, you could live without money. Because in the time of the Sahaba, you just pitch a tent in the middle of the desert, you live off the land, you have your animals, and you can have a sustainable life in that way. In today's world, even if you own your house, you still owe property taxes to the government. Yes, you still owe money even if you own the land that you live on. And so given that, the value of money has also changed. And so I feel that a lot of us in this upside down, I'm going to coin this term, the upside down Muslim paradigm, is that they romanticize the era of the Sahaba out of context, the era of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They take it out of context and they say, there's something so important with giving your time for free. Well, no, things have changed and you need to be able to take that into context. Now, I'm not saying that you should never do charity work for free. I'm not saying that there's not a time and a place for that. But you need to understand when is the time and the place for that. And so as a whole, that's why I said that I hope the second half of this podcast doesn't take away from the first half of this, which is that those who pay attention. Charge what it is that you are worth. Destroy the false beliefs that you have related to money that have been ingrained into your mind over years and years and years and years and years of being in the community that you're in and being the upraising that you're in. And unfortunately, even the most learned amongst our communities are not necessarily always safe from this toxicity that is within our culture. And so really work hard to remove it from your mind and really become extremely, extremely vigilant on whenever those thoughts come to your mind. Ask yourself why, and then work on getting rid of those thoughts. And so that's what I got for you guys today. I know it was a long one. We had a part 1 and a part 2. I hope you guys found value. And then we'll keep on going from there. Talk to you soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.